Hello universe, today I want to talk to you about something that I'm really passionate about, namely full-time jobs and why I don't want one. I made a video about that last year, how I survive on my part-time income and why I am a financial minimalist, and a lot of people could resonate with that. And I felt a lot of pain points being that you don't have enough time to focus on yourself versus having to focus on your job, or that you feel like your work is undervalued. And I feel like there is a lot more conversation to be made there. So today I want to tell you about why I don't want a full-time job, how I found my way into a part-time job, and what I do with my free time, and then address some of your concerns. Now let's talk about why I don't want a full-time job. My first reason is that there is a lot of time going to waste essentially on traveling to work, on eating there, on having to talk to people there, not actually working. And I feel like that adds up to whole years of your life, and that's just not something that I am willing to spend so easily. The next reason is that I want to offer my value to the world on my own terms. Even at school, I realized that even though I am ready to learn, that I love learning, there are just days where I am not feeling it. And there is no excuse. You can't say I am a little bit sad, I am a little bit tired. The school will want you to be there, and full-time jobs are the same way. Every day from Monday to Friday or whatever, you have to be ready to show up, to do your best. And if you are sad, it is not enough. You really need to be sick and contagious. And sometimes you could be sick and still work from home. This is much easier to bear with a part-time job. It's just a day or two, and it's sometimes actually fun to break from your usual routine and to go to the office, but just having to do that every single day is too much. And my last reason is connected to energy. I will have days where I don't want to talk to people, where I don't want to do small talk. I despise small talk, but at work you have to gather yourself, have that social conversation, schmooze, network, all of these things, and I just cannot do this from 9 to 5 every single day. I do it very well for a few days, but it is a talent being able to turn into a completely different person, because I truly believe not all of these people are feeling great, but they will never show it to you. A few miscellaneous reasons why I don't like full-time jobs are, for example, eating. You have to cook on Sunday for all of the days, or you have to sit in the evening and make your meal that you will then microwave the next day, or even worse, eat food from the supermarket or some kind of canteen, and that is not very delicious or very healthy. Another reason is traveling a lot in the environment. Obviously, for people who can work from home, this is a no-brainer, but for other people who cannot do this as well, maybe having less days there, having less travels there would save a little bit of CO2 going into the atmosphere. And finally, and probably this mostly applies to desk jobs, I feel like you really have to work double time trying to not distract yourself at the office, and that drains you a lot from when you get home. You don't have that much focus to then go and write your book or do some knitting or do some yoga, and that is another reason that it feels very draining to work all the time. Now let's talk about part-time jobs. Obviously, the main thing to talk about here is income. There is something called lifestyle inflation, which happens when people get more money and they begin to just spend more money magically. And I believe I have done something like a lifestyle deflation. I was used to spending a little more than I do now. I would get some more clothes, I would update some things at home, and I have just learned to really hang on to and love the things that I have. A lot of that is through gratitude. I learned to see that I have already everything that I need, and thinking about the opportunity costs. Would I really trade, I don't know, a better e-reader for a beautiful Tuesday afternoon just sitting outside instead of being in the office? No. Thinking about that made that choice to do some lifestyle deflation easier for me, and I'm trying to really stick to that. Minimalism, obviously a really helpful thing, because now I can really filter the things that I need. And yes, the income is less, but if it is worth it to you to have more time, and if you can find a way to maybe improve the income that you get from there, I think it is completely manageable. Apart from the income, another concern is, what do you do with your free time? Well, you can do anything you want to. You can obviously enjoy it. I do believe most people do something else that is productive, that is not valued, unfortunately, in our society. Something like playing the guitar or painting or making YouTube videos or doing yoga or just working on your mental health, spending time with your mom. These are all important, productive, wonderful things and truly make out the essence of your life. Believe me, there are a lot of things to do, and none of these things are something to be ashamed of or be judged by other people who really believe that you should spend all of your time working. My mom voiced the concern that if you are not improving in something, then your brain will basically rot away in your head and you will get worse and worse in everything. And here is where I say that most people will probably want to create something in their free time. This doesn't mean necessarily being creative. It could be working on their garden. You could do anything, and I believe most people will have something to do. And if you don't know what you would do yet, I'm sure if you search inside yourself, you will remember something that you've always wanted to do, and given more free time, you would do. So having things to do with your free time in part-time jobs is not a problem. Next concern, other people. There might be people at work or in your life that make you feel like you should be working, that maybe don't voice it, but just by the way that they act, you feel like if you decide to just say, okay, I'm gonna take a step back and I'm gonna work part-time, that they will judge you or they will move so far ahead of you and you will stay behind. You need to do soul searching then. Is it really what you want to be like them? Do you really want to have less time with your kids, with your parents, for your hobbies? Maybe this work is something that you really want to invest in, and in that case, you should probably be just like them. But if it's not the case, then don't worry about what they will think or what you think about them. Now, what might be even worse than you worrying about others, what they might think or what they actually do think, is what you think about yourself. And I think there is where you have to prioritize. What is more important to you? How will you feel? Maybe just give it a test. Give it a test for a few years. I've learned from Tony Robbins that some decisions are hard and you might spend a lot of time worrying about the future because of them. And a little trick you can do there is just set a point. From today, maybe 2 years from now, you will go back to this decision and you will revise it. But for today, you have decided and you will not worry within that time. So if you just want to try it out and see if it's worth it for you, if you really are going to fall behind, if you really won't have enough money and you will sit around doing nothing, then you can revise it in 2 years and see if this decision was right for you. But what will happen when you are old, and what will happen with your security? Yes, this is a valid question. I believe that you should really trust the power of your mind, which is something that I do. I have a lot of life, hopefully, ahead of me. I'm 26. I believe I can create value with my videos, with my mind. I believe I will be able to create in different ways, and that will generate me some income. So I am not too worried about the job that I am currently working right now. Will this matter 10 years from now? Probably not. Will it matter in your case? Probably not. In case it is not something like you will lose the money that you have saved or you will not be able to finance this and that, there might be a time where you have to wait to jump into a part-time job or freelancing. It might make sense to save up for a house first or to save up to help a family member first and then try this out later. Again, come back to this decision in 2 years and see how you feel about it then. But worrying about the future, for example, like worrying about your money when you are old, worrying about a parent relying on you or a child relying on you, things like that, you cannot foresee everything and things do change. So take a temporary decision and trust that you have the power in your mind to go back into that workforce and work if you have to. This is not a final decision, so you don't have to think about it like it's the end of the world. It's not all or nothing. In conclusion, nothing is guaranteed. There is the government, there is inflation, there's climate change, there are all of these things going on, and life does not last forever. So you should do what you feel is right for you now and not worry about backtracking, not worry about making mistakes. If you feel like you are safe, if you feel like you have the opportunity, then why not take it? Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.